Tenant references is hurting the landlord industry all across Canada. It is getting so bad, and this is a call to action for every single landlord to really pay attention to references when it's coming down to landlords contacting you to get a reference for a tenant moving into their property. I'm seeing it all the time, and now is the time that we really have to start changing the way that we think about this business. We have to unite together. We have to work together as landlords. This new era of managing tenants has changed dramatically, and it's still changing. It's evolving. It is starting to improve. It is starting to get better. So there are some promises that is happening in the industry because of technology, because of systems and platforms like Landlord Easy and LTB orders and judgments that's becoming public, etc. But we still have to make sure that we are doing our part as landlords and helping each other. So this video is a call to action to every landlord out there in this industry. I don't care where your property is, whether it's Ontario, anywhere in Canada, anywhere in United States, or anywhere in Europe, or wherever on the planet that you have a rental property. Tenant references is so very important. So answer your phone, and when that landlord calls you, it's time to be honest with other landlords. I see it all the time, and it happens to me sometimes when I call a landlord and I say, hey, Jimmy's trying to rent my property. Can you tell me just a little bit about Jimmy? And the landlord, sometimes, not always, but sometimes the landlord's going to give me positive feedback because Jimmy is a horrible tenant. Jimmy doesn't pay his rent, or Jimmy does damages, or whatever Jimmy does in that property, but the landlord wants an exit strategy and get this tenant out of their property. So I've seen this, and it's happened to me personally. And, a lot of times I can see right through this. So the screening process is so, so very important. If we're not doing this, landlord, and we're not being honest, and we're not talking to other landlords and letting them know exactly who is moving into these properties, it's hurting this industry. It's really hurting. It's damaging us. It's damaging this entire ecosystem of being a landlord, because these tenants are just rotating and recycling and going to other properties and getting more judgments and not paying rent. So it has to stop now. It's stressing every single landlord out in this industry. We're all stressed about this property. We're already dealing with enough stuff that we shouldn't even have to deal with the governments and non-protections from the landlord and tenant board, etc. So now it's time that we unite together. We work together with this. We pick up the phone, we answer it. A landlord texts me every now and then. Almost on a daily basis, I get a text message asking for a reference from the tenant. I make sure that answer is on speed dial, because I want to make sure that if this tenant's a good tenant, they deserve an awesome recommendation, and they truly, really do. And if you do have a great tenant and they move from your property, just write them an email. It's so easy. Give them a recommendation in the email, and let this tenant know that pass this along to your next landlord. They can email me and they can call me. So that way it helps streamline this process, and we don't have this, thing in the back of our minds where it's like, we don't know who to trust anymore in this industry. So it's super important. I invented a tool on Landlord Easy, which is called Landlord Handshake. This is a free option, and I think I'm going to have another video on this, but I'm going to mention it just lightly right now. Is you can register your tenant on Landlord Handshake on Landlord Easy. It's free. Just register your tenant. It takes literally 5 seconds. And what happens is, when you do the screening process, and if you're doing your credit checks through Landlord Easy, and you go to Landlord Easy and check the handshake tool, and you just type in the tenant's name, it is going to pop up all of the landlords that are connected to this tenant. So that way you can chat with this landlord directly on Landlord Easy. So this is a tool you need to use. So landlords, please make sure the references, you're really taking some time and talking to other landlords, because even if you have a great tenant today, maybe one day, or you're going to have a bad tenant, and I hope that you don't, but if you do, then you're going to know exactly what the purpose of this video is. So it is our jobs as landlords, it's our jobs as this entire industry, that we begin to unite, we begin to work together, we begin to communicate, and we begin to start eliminating these bad tenants out of our system. It's up to us to regulate it. And that's what I'm doing with Landlord Easy. That's the purpose of this video, so that way we can start communicating better and talking amongst each other as landlords. Okay, so that's what I think is so important, and a message that I want to get out there today. So landlords, please do your part, and happy landlording.